The Battle of Stalingrad was a major battle between the German and Soviet armies, fought from August 23, 1942 to February 2, 1943. The battle ended with the defeat of the Germans and marked the beginning of the decline of Nazi Germany in World War II. The Battle of Stalingrad can be considered one of the most brutal and decisive battles in world military history. The battle lasted for 5 months, with over 2 million soldiers from both sides participating. Phase 1. The German Offensive. On August 23, 1942, the German army began its offensive on Stalingrad. The Germans used a large force, including over 1 million soldiers, 1,000 tanks, and 1,400 aircraft. The Germans quickly captured most of the city in the first few months. The Soviet forces were forced to retreat to the Volga River and organize their defenses. During this phase, the Germans used a series of tank and infantry attacks to capture key objectives in the city. The Soviet forces fought back fiercely to defend the city. One of the most important battles of this phase was the battle at Mamayev Bridge. Mamayev Bridge was a critical bridge connecting the two banks of the Volga River. The Germans attempted to capture the bridge to cut off the Soviet supply lines. However, the Soviets held firm and repulsed the German attacks. Phase 2. The Soviet counteroffensive. From November 1942 to February 1943, the Soviet forces launched a series of counteroffensives. On November 19, 1942, the Soviet forces surrounded the German 6th Army in Stalingrad. The Germans were forced to endure shortages of food, ammunition, and medical supplies. They fought in harsh conditions under a hail of Soviet bombs and artillery. Finally, on February 2, 1943, over 91,000 German and Romanian soldiers surrendered to the Soviet forces. The Battle of Stalingrad was a decisive battle for the fate of the Soviet Union. If the Germans had captured Stalingrad, they would have controlled the Volga River, a critical supply route for the Soviets. This would have left the Soviet Union in a precarious position and could have led to the defeat of the Soviet Union in the war. In the face of the German onslaught, the Soviet forces suffered heavy losses. However, they fought back bravely and ultimately won the victory. The defeat of the Germans at Stalingrad was a major turning point in World War II. The battle greatly weakened the German military and marked the beginning of the decline of Nazi Germany. The Battle of Stalingrad also demonstrated the strength of the Soviet army and the indomitable spirit of the Soviet people.